Mark Ostrud, welcome to Clallam Corner.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate the invitation.
It's only taken, a few years to get you to be celebrity status, but it's official. You're
Yes.
here.
I appreciate you dragging me into celebrity status along with you.
So Mark and I are friends, and I've known Mark for years. He is the sales manager. Is that your official title?
I guess officially general sales manager.
General sales manager over at Price Ford over in Port Angeles. He's helped our family with several vehicles. And earlier this year, before it hit the fan, I was a part of a really cool promotion with Price Ford called the My Ford Challenge, where I got to drive 4 different Fords in 4 weeks. It was awesome. Loved it. Mark, how are you doing? What's new?
I am personally doing well, and we at the dealership are doing as well as could be expected. I have found some exterior yard work in my own free time to take over any unsettling hands and the necessity to be doing something. So the yard's looking wonderful. But, I guess everything that we're doing at the store is, in kind of a personal thing as well, is just kind of control the things that you can control and don't get wrapped up in the things that you can't control. And I think that's kind of the path to success for what we've seen here.
Yeah, it seems like a common trap to be stuck to the news, stuck to your Facebook feed, whatever it is, and just kind of getting swept up in some of the bad. But a lot of the stuff is, like you said, out of our control.
Yeah. I had learned early on through almost an obsession of I cannot fix everybody's opinion, and let's just stick to the things that I can remedy and the things I can control. So, you read what the governor's orders are, and you read what common sense is, and you kind of make a determination to say, ultimately, here are the ways that the business can function. So, for instance, in our line of work, it was determined that auto repair and automotive parts were essential services. So everything that we did was to maximize automotive repair and automotive parts output. So we quickly had to lay off a number of staff members that are involved specifically in vehicle sales, because that wasn't deemed essential without following some very specific guidelines. And then we maintained some core personnel who then turned into, like myself, have been, what we coin as dialing for dollars. So essentially Ford has a humongous list of efforts and repairs that the factory is taking care of, whether it's an update on a module or checking torque setting on a specific door latch or those types of things that the factory says, bring in your Ford Explorer and let's take a look at this, or bring in your F-150 and let's make sure that the software has been updated. Those types of things. I've been making nonstop calls, offering people the ability to have their vehicles picked up, sanitized, repair work completed, drop back off to them, all at no additional charge. So those kind of things have kept our staff in the back busy. And we really work to maximize both parts and service in terms of how many people can we get through the door on a daily basis. The only effect to us is we had 2 weeks where we closed the doors early on Saturday at like noon, 12:30 range instead of 5:30 in the service department. Outside of that, we're back to normal hours right now.
That's pretty awesome that you guys provide the pickup, drop off, sanitation, try to make it as easy as possible for folks to just say, here's the keys, see you later.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Let me turn some speakers down here. Yeah, that's kind of been the goal is find what the new normal is going to be and what people are comfortable with. It's early on in the process. The non-existent handshake was a little odd, and you'd still find people reaching out for a handshake. Even as recent as yesterday, you find people reaching out for a handshake, and I find myself looking out for other people as much or more so than myself in terms of making certain that I'm not putting somebody else at risk. And I don't feel like I'm in danger personally, but I would say as far as higher risk individuals, I meet and am in close contact with as many people as most, or more than most. So I feel like, with a little bit older clientele, I need to be very respectful of not getting someone else sick potentially, or not being someone that's, actively shaking hands or getting in close proximity. So I try to be a little more mindful of than what some people even demand or require or are comfortable with, I guess.
Yeah. Now I see here you've outshone me once again. As you can see, I am at home in sweats and you are at your office Is this just for the video, or is this an everyday Dapper Dan sort of thing? Are you always out
You know
stunting
that.
people?
You know the answer to that. This is a daily ritual here.
Well, damn, I thought it might be that you were, dressing up for the occasion, but you do look awesome. Yes, go ahead.
I did put on some high performance brake cufflinks just for you.
Well, I wanted to ask you specifically, you mentioned about control what you can control, and there was something that I thought really cool that I saw over this weekend that you were a part of with regards to fundraising. Out of all this adversity and hard times and people stuck at home, there's been some good that's come from it. Can you highlight what you did to yourself voluntarily over the weekend?
So this started with one of our sales staff, and our sales staff has still been working remotely on a limited basis. But Madeline Kohler, comes up with an idea of doing these food challenges. And so looking for the next food challenge, I said I would eat the hottest wings that you can legally call food for $500, and I'll donate that $500 towards paying people's utility bills in the community. And that morphed into, I don't know what the term is, frenemies, people that I once considered friends, such as yourself and guys like Brian Jackson and Joel Burson, and even my boss, David Price, and 60 plus other people all donated money from all around the country. Even as obscure as, here's how far out this went. There was a gentleman that was a foreign exchange student 30 years ago, my senior year of high school, who is currently living in Thailand. He donated money. I mean, that's how international this went. So it's just shy of $3,000 right now.
$3,000, wow.
Yeah, so I ended up in the ante consistently to try to stay pace with this. But at the end of the day, I ate borderline food hot sauce that was just shy of military grade hot sauce, 16 wings in ascending order of heat and full punishment. However, at the end of the bridge, yeah, thanks.
There is a video out there. As you can see, this is me. I had such a great time watching this video. Yes. My wife and I were each on our own devices, laughing and laughing, and I was taunting you about getting more sauce. So I found this great screenshot of you, Mark, while you were
perfect.
What was the one with the droplet? What was it called? Ant juice or?
Oh, so the one with the dropper is called the bomb, and it's the final answer. It's just a capsaicin extract. It's absolutely ridiculous. 1.5 million Scoville units, which I now know what that means. It means 1.5 million parts sugar water mixed with 1 part of this before you can't taste the heat. That's how ridiculous this is.
So I just wanted to share that photo. We had a blast with that, helping you. We donated, my family, and it was what an awesome cause. So the money you've raised close to $3,000, and it's going back, you said, to Clallam County utility bills, right? You want to talk about that?
It's all local folks, and what we decided to do was I was trying to find a very broad number of people that we could actually make a reasonable difference with. So we settled on $150 towards people's power bill. And I think the math is somewhere around 18, 19 people. And whatever it is, we'll make up the difference to round it up and pay. There's some credit card fees that are charged when people donate through Facebook. So we'll cover that kind of stuff and affect probably 18, 19 people's power bills to the tune of $150 a person. And it's all in the name of let's have something positive to talk about, not just from us, but from everybody, and let's give people something to have some enjoyment and get off of the schneid of, hey, this is all we're talking about is fixated on how many people, and I guess I look at it from a couple different perspectives. First of all, we're covering people's power bill. So that tells me one or two things. If you look at it on a much, much larger scale, these are people that have a roof over their head. So all is not lost. This is a pretty positive situation. And if you're saying, hey, the worst case scenario is I'm a little short of my power bill, you're still living a pretty solid life. You've got a bed to sleep in. You've got likely food in the refrigerator. But if we can make things a little easier and help somebody sleep a little bit better because, hey, they had $150 worth of relief and we had some fun doing it, fantastic. And all I did was eat chicken wings. People like you and other folks, I donated a little bit of money, but everybody pitched in. It was over 60 people. So just, you're talking about folks like you that I once considered friends putting me through this punishment.
Now, I will tell you, I hadn't even seen the donation link until we started watching it live. And I think someone said, we're almost at 2,500 and you needed like $20 more. So I went on and threw 50 just to get over 2,500. And now before we jumped on here, a couple days later, it's, as you said, even after the event has continued to raise money.
Yeah, it's getting a little over 1,000 views. I'm sure that there'll be people that go and watch it in perpetuity and have some fun with it.
Or take screenshots and put it as their computer background.
Really
grimacing from pain.
Super appreciative of your efforts.
Guys like myself, we find ourselves locked at home. I am experimenting with new things in the kitchen besides mega hot chicken wings. Anything that you have found yourself either eating more of, eating less of, drinking more of, drinking less of? What's this quarantine done to you at home?
I am working still on staying healthy. We've got a garden planted. Haven't got anything out of the garden just yet, but the radishes are up and the lettuce is growing. On the smoker has been getting a pretty good workout. I'm taking advantage of the deals on big full pork loins for cheap money, and 3 packs of ribs at Costco are pretty exciting price-wise, but that's perhaps not the healthiest protein options, but they're the tastiest.
Hey, if it keeps you happy and keeps you willing to do good things for the community like that, that is awesome. Well, I don't want to keep you too long. Anything that you want to give as words of wisdom, things that Ford's doing, this is your last chance before I kick you off the show. What do you got to say to me?
I'll give you a couple things. So from a global scale, what Ford Motor Company has done, and I know the CEO, Jim Hackett, just came out and said, we have converted as a team a factory into making personal protective equipment and ventilators. So their goal is to produce 50,000 ventilators. I think they've ramped up at this point to making somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 plus a day. So certainly doing their part to try to bring what was once called the arsenal of democracy to force and do things for the United States that are certainly in need. They're providing dealerships with masks and personal protective equipment, along with hospitals and frontline workers with that type of stuff as well from the Ford factories. From a local standpoint, we're kind of strategizing on how do we intelligently make steps to get back open and do normal business and facilitate people that are in need. And I kind of think that's a lot of what everybody is likely doing now is what are the intelligent steps. And, in just some roundtable discussion, I think the deals where, so we're in a unique situation. Washington State is the only state in the country that they cannot openly sell vehicles without meeting some very specific guidelines. Every other state is having record sales numbers where they are just open, just because of the deals at 0% for 84 months has never been seen before. So, you look at dealerships in Texas and Florida and Georgia and places like that, and they're doing rock star new car business. In Washington State, we're dragging at the tail end. However, I don't know, that pent-up demand has still got to be there. Just because people aren't able to take advantage of it doesn't mean that the demand's not there. So in a lot of lines of work, whether it's home construction, real estate, insurance, those types of things, there is pent-up demand for getting those things taken care of. So my advice is find your game plan to find your new normal very quickly and resume with what's your new normal going to be? How can we better facilitate customers? And trimming down to this level now has really put us in a position where I can say, here are the things that we wanted to enact. So it's going to be much easier to steer the ship when the ship's empty to say, hey, here's the new normal when we come back. Here's the things that we'd like to enact that are going to better serve the customers, whether it's social distancing, whether it's procedures and processes, putting something in place that gives me the ability to take care of a vehicle transaction with your family without you having to come into the showroom necessarily, and me doing remote deliveries or virtual processes, something that's a lot more suited to what the customer's looking for. So those are the types of things that we're trying to find our way through right now.
Yeah, it's weird. It's as a small business owner, I always tell this to my employees. Unfortunately, I have no handbook for this. There's no like steps or procedures, but even for giant corporations, like the whole world we've seen, even the government, there's no steps, no one knows. So,
I am hopeful that we look back on this, and there's two paths that I guess that you can take. And I think the path that I would prefer is to look back and to say, man, did we go a little bit overboard there? We sure did take things a little bit more cautiously and a little more safely than what was necessary, and remember how that wasn't that big of a deal in hindsight. That's my preference versus, holy smokes, look at the carnage that we created because we just were flippant about this towards the end. And I'm fearful that people are going to be in that. I guess if I was asking for anything from a change from the government, it's just better direction. But like you said, it's not like there's a handbook of, hey, flip to page 25 and go to the COVID-19 section. It just doesn't exist. So feeling your way intelligently through this and trying to rely on science and understand what's going on is certainly, and depoliticizing everything that's going on is certainly a bit of a moving target, it seems.
Well, there is a handbook that you have helped create for how to socially fundraise by putting your taste buds through extreme torture and pain. So thank you for allowing me to have a giggle with that and have some fun. Thank you for supporting those families that you are. Thanks for taking the time out. I know you're busy. I know you're in a meeting before this, but thank you for joining. And I look forward to at some point in time shooting hoops with you again. I mean, it's been a long time.
Absolutely. I got to put your kids on a strict diet of lean red meat and left-handed dribbling.
All right, Mark. Thanks so much, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, great to see you, James.